So the next time you start obsessing over a cute new anime girl, I want you to just fucking watch is that poster of Aqua that you disowned come flying down the stairs, and all you'll be able to say. Over the past decade, I have seen a lot of animes. Animes of all different kinds. Shonen, slice of life, isekai, harem, reverse harem, romance, coming of age, the list goes on. And in my many hours of watching, I've seen a lot of different characters and shows that stuck with me and other viewers because we either liked them or we connected with them, or maybe just because they were iconic. But between all these shows and all of these characters, there was but one common anomalous entity. That anomalous entity being the waifu. Now, the waifu is an interesting creature. Every anime has one, and somehow absolutely every single one of them is good. They're without a doubt the backbone of any good show, and if they're really good, they have the potential to stick with fans for years. So why is it that so many have been forgotten, lost to time? Today, I'd like to talk about not only my favorite waifus, but why they came in one season and left just 12 episodes later. So, yes. My question for you today is, what happened to the waifus that you forgot? What did they do to help make the show that you loved so much, and why did you leave them behind so easily? What made these characters likable and memorable in the first place? Now, when asked, most viewers kind of had a hard time answering this question using specifics, but generally said things along the lines of, they have to have a good personality, they have to impact the plot in a meaningful way, or they have to have a good personality. Now, of course, these questions are subjective. Different things mean different things to different people, so there are no wrong answers, even though I received quite a number of weird responses. So because this is a relatively open-ended line of questions, why don't we just keep things simple and stick to appearance, personality, and plot significance, and the role they play in how they shape a character and how we enjoy them, or specifically, how we view and enjoy a waifu. Now, when you're watching a harem anime and you say, I'm watching this for the plot, you're not fooling the person you're talking to, and you're definitely not fooling yourself. But last year, I think for the very first time in my entire life, I watched a show called Rascal Does Not Dream of a Bunny Girl Senpai, and I enjoyed it for nothing but the plot. And that was all because of one very plot-significant waifu named Ryo Futaba. What made Futaba catch my attention initially is how seamlessly she fits into the show's world. She doesn't call attention to herself, she helps out the main cast, and she has an amazing arc that showcases her character extremely well. From the very first moment that she's introduced, she's cemented in as a certified science waifu, and does nothing but make sense of each arc's plot. Donning her lab coat and glasses, she immediately starts to help out our main character Sakuta rationalize the strange occurrences of the world around them using real-world scientific theories. Kind of, anyway. She uses Schrodinger's cat to explain why someone could disappear from the memories of others, and then she uses quantum entanglement to explain why two people might be looping through time together. It's a little convoluted, but it works. And it's something that continues throughout the entire series. Sakuta has a problem, and Futaba helps him figure it out. So because of Futaba and everything she does with her role of science waifu, the plotlines of the show change from the fantasy feel that the strange events should give them, to more of a science fiction, and more of the overall feel and tone of the show to be a bit more realistic than it would have been had Futaba not been there. Before Futaba's character is introduced properly, she's memorable for two distinct reasons. Number one, she's a cute girl. And number two, she's an excellent plot device. However, once she does start to get introduced properly through subtle characterization, like when she corrects Sakuta on his clock being slow, or when she denies the existence of the strange events, we can kind of get the idea that she's a bit more logical than anything else. And it's through this deadpan logical attitude that we can grow to like her and her dry humor that she brings into the show. It's this very characterization and that very dry charisma that then in the next few episodes feeds into the subversive nature of her own arc, building up to when her whole persona is subverted as her true character starts to veer its logically emotional head in her actual arc. Beginning in episode 4, there's a bit of a weird focus on Futaba. Some lingering shots, little glimpses into her personal life and what she's feeling, interruptions in her normal role, like showing us her feelings towards Saka's friend Kunumi, before resuming her normal scientific duties. All moments that are easily dismissed or forgotten if you're not paying attention. But if you are paying attention, then you wouldn't be surprised in episode 7 when Futaba splits into 2 different people. The reason she believes she's split is from the contradiction inside herself, from wanting reactions and attention when unable to get them from Kunumi, and how she felt disgusted by the way she chose to do so through an online account. One of the Futabas, a manifestation of her denial to what she wants and self-hate to what she does, and the other, the part of herself that's willing to admit what she wants and what she's done. Now initially, whether you like it or not, the conclusion can be drawn that things like love and attention aren't really something that a character like Futaba would care about. And yet she does, and that's exactly what makes her whole inner conflict and arc subversive of her character. Futaba knows she shouldn't be feeling the feelings towards Kunumi that she does, but she can't help it. And this is what I believe truly made viewers fall in love with Futaba: relatability. Her arc showcased a character that was previously shown to be emotionless start to experience things that we all have: loneliness, love, self-hate, and how all these things can be connected. Like the profile picture of her hidden account is clearly that of bread. The very same bread that Kunumi gave her, and the very bread that made her fall in love with him. What made Futaba a memorable waifu was how perfectly she aided the plotlines of the show, but what made her truly lovable was how in her own part in the plot she showed us a character that we hadn't seen before, a character that gained a third dimension, a dimension we as viewers could both connect and sympathize with. Speaking of cute anime girls, can you really have a conversation about them without bringing up Kyoto Animation? I mean, they basically created what we know as the modern waifu. In fact, they have such a large cast of waifus that I think it's only fair that instead of just picking one, we just talk about, like, all 5 of them from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. Except you. And maybe you. Haven't really decided yet about you. So let's talk character design. Now, if you want to talk about what instantly made all the waifus and designs from Dragon Maids memorable, all you really have to do is look at how they mildly cater to a male audience. But if you want to know what made these characters memorable for more than 15 minutes, once again, all you have to do is look at them. There's more than one appeal to each of their designs. Now, strictly speaking from an analytical point of view, their designs are good because of things like recognizable silhouettes or pastel color palettes that are used. The maids all have good designs, but there's one aspect that plays a big part into what really sold them: moe. And I can't believe I actually have to talk about this right now. Now, I think we can all agree that the characters in Dragon Maids aren't exactly the most deep character-wise, but they don't really have to be. It's made up for in how they're designed and how they behave, which is where the moe factor factors in. So, what is moe? Well, there are a lot of different ways to define what moe exactly means because it's a somewhat subjective term, so for now we'll just leave it as design and behavioral qualities that make you wholesomely love a character. Now, each of the maids in the show shows us some aspect of the moe factor, Toru being the prime example because she has the most screen time and she has the most generalized form of moe, hers being shown through her bubbly personality and how they animated to show that. Examples would be this. This is moe. This is moe. This is moe. This is all moe. Get it? Toru is probably the most generalized form of moe because she has many qualities of moe without having any one specific quality show more than the others in her design. Unlike Mukoa, who while sharing many of the qualities Toru has, mainly thrives on the sexual appeal of her design. Kana thrives on the cute aspect of her design, and I don't think that I can stress this enough. She's cute because she's a child. And if you like her design for any other reasons, it's at this time that I'm gonna have to ask you to exit the video. Elma's defining trait is a little hard to pin down, but for me specifically, it's really just kind of how she looks like an idiot, and that makes her fun to watch. And like, I don't really know what makes Mr. Fafnir moe, but like, he's cute though, so like, he makes it in the video. All of these characters showcase moe in some kind of way in their designs, and these design choices are kind of what keeps the show afloat. Dragon Maids has no plot. No overarching story, its episodes are little more than compilations of the characters interacting in various settings and circumstances. So what better way to inject your show with some personality than to make all of your characters cute dragons the viewers would want to marry, regardless of whether or not they morally should. The dragons are a memorable bunch not only because their designs are cute, but because their designs are good. And speaking of Kyoto animation, do you remember a silent voice? Well, if you do you remember that strumpet Naoka? Even she was a waifu that added to the overall experience of her movie, in the very same way that Chika from Love is War, despite being an idiot, added to her own show. In juxtaposing ways, the characters and personalities of both Naoka and Chika juxtapose the overall tone of their respective media. A Silent Voice is a movie about a guy who bullies a deaf girl as a child, and later in life tries to befriend her and right his wrongs. I want to make a video all about it soon, so I won't go too in depth, but the film carries a lot of different themes, such as dealing with loneliness, depression, and most importantly, forgiveness. The main character, Shoya, wants to apologize to the girl he bullied, Shoko, and her forgiveness is something that he chases throughout the film, alongside others who also wronged Shoko. But then about an hour into the film, we're reintroduced to the character Naoka, who despite also being terrible to Shoko, doesn't chase her forgiveness, and even when face to face with her, she continues to be a bully for Shoko. She presents us with the exact opposite of our main character, who's trying to be better, with someone who simply doesn't care. Naoka, up until her final appearance in the movie, continues to be the same terrible person that she was at the beginning, despite everyone else having grown as characters. She represents a contrast for every single other character in the movie by choosing to not be better. And it's not as if she's a small character either. She plays a main side role, and her choices driven by feelings of resentment, guilt, and jealousy have tangible consequences throughout the film. Chika from Love is War functions almost the exact same way, albeit in a more lighthearted fashion. Now, there isn't exactly anything poetic about Chika's presence in this show, and that's exactly what makes her existence poetic. Love is War is a show that takes its ridiculous premise of trying to get your crush to confess using increasingly convoluted methods as seriously as it can, and that's where Chika comes in. She's not really a character you watch to add to the depth of a show, but rather one you watch to lighten the mood of a show that tries to take everything seriously. Like when our main characters, Shinomi and Shirogane, are in the middle of an intense battle of the minds, and Chika just comes in as a love detective. Or maybe she just comes in to straight up emotionally manipulate them to win a game. Everything she does is in direct conflict with the show's serious vibe in the best possible way. What makes Chika a good character is a synergy between the show getting us caught up in mind games enough to forget that Chika exists in any given scene, and Chika being written almost specifically to indirectly fuck with said mind games. What made the characters Chika and Naoka interesting is how their personalities were the opposite of everything else they were a part of. They added just a little bit of texture to what otherwise would have been two stories with little to no opposition outside their main goals and themes. But every single one of these characters, Chika, Naoka, Toru, Futaba, they're just the beginning. The past decade has seen a great advancement in waifus. But these are just the ones that I enjoyed personally. There are so many more to talk about. There is an endless amount of them. An endless amount of waifus to be remembered. Asuna, Chiho, Chiyuki, Saitama, Nana, Shirashi. Not all of these characters or shows are good, but each and every one of them did something for their own show, and for that, they deserve to be remembered. So the next time you start obsessing over a cute new anime girl, I want you to just fucking watch is that poster of Aqua that you disowned come flying down the stairs, and all you'll be able to say right before you're smothered is, he was right. That's it. That's the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You have no idea how long it took to make this video. Hopefully I'll be releasing some more content soon. Maybe more than once every 2 or 3 months, but we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll just leave it at, thanks for watching.